guys, we're here to talk today about something that we call casting. And you might wonder, what does casting have to do with hitting? I do casting when I'm fishing. So casting is, let me see if I can show you. Casting is when you're ready to hit, the first movement that you make is to extend your arms straight, okay, and then swing through. So this lead arm, and whether you're batting right or left, this lead arm will straighten as the first move. And what happens when we do this, when we're straightening our arm and when we're casting, is we call it an around the plate swing. And we lose a lot of power, a lot of control. We're not able to get around on an inside pitch. There's a number of things that this causes. Okay, so we do this, and now we're forced to swing like this. Okay, so our arms are way out around, and we've come to a full stretch way too early. So this isn't going to be helpful when you're playing as a younger player and you're using aluminum bats and you're facing pitching machines or slower pitching. You can often get away with a casting swing because you can catch up to the ball, but it tends to be a much slower swing. We want to eliminate that because as you get older, the pitches are going to be faster. You're going to be using a wood bat, and we want to eliminate that. So how do we eliminate that? Well, one of the first things that we can do to eliminate that is a simple tee drill of putting the tee on the inside part of the plate. Okay, so if we set that up on the inside part of the plate, then it's going to force us to have to pull our hands in to hit it. Okay, so it's inside. Normally we would set up the tee in front of the plate and we position ourselves, but we're going to set up the tee, the back corner here, a very difficult spot to hit a pitch, and we're going to take our regular stance from here, okay, and then we're going to have to swing at the ball there. Now if I extend, it's virtually impossible for me to make contact with that ball. Okay, if I do this casting, see, I'm going to hit the ball. If you could get on top of this, you'd see I'm going to hit the ball around here on the bat. So it's going to force us to get our hands in and turn. Okay, so we eliminate that casting motion. The other thing that causes casting is a lack of proper hip rotation. And we do have another video on hip rotation and the lower body, which we'll be doing later. But in terms of hip rotation, if I'm able to simply rotate my body before I start my hands, so you'll hear us say hips before hands. And the idea is I want to leave my hands in their starting position, knob of the bat facing the catcher, okay, until I've rotated my hips. And then everything's going to follow. And when I do that, my first motion is not going to be to extend the arms back. Okay, I'm rotating my hips forward, and then I'm going to come through. And that's going to create, okay, that's going to create that nice rotation and motion, and I'm not going to get this arm out of flying way out, okay? So you can work on that at home. You can do it with a tee. You can do it in front of the mirror, whatever you choose, but it's just working on this simple motion of hips before hands. Okay, so getting out. Okay, your arm will eventually come straight, but that's not until you get out here. And this is what we call a power V. So that's at the end of our swing. Okay, so when we follow through, that's at the end of our swing, up here. Okay, so try those few techniques to eliminate that casting and really focus on not stretching that arm out, okay, but turning your hips, keeping this in this position, then and following through. So one more thing that we want to consider with the casting, as we talk about straightening that, is your elbow position. And this goes for dropping your elbows as well, is your elbows want to stay at the same distance apart throughout the swing. It's a really funny thing you probably don't notice, but we don't want our elbows to flare out, okay, or come in any way. Okay, we want to keep them at a consistent distance apart through the swing. So they're staying at that same distance no matter what. They don't move. They don't come in or out. And if we're dropping our shoulders or we're casting, what that's doing is we're actually changing that. So something to think about are my elbows staying at the same distance apart through the swing. Okay, that's another point.